Have you ever thought about the fact that your weaknesses can actually be a strength in the hands of Jesus? Good morning, y'all. Welcome to Coffee with Connect. We get together on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30, and we get into God's Word together. We have our coffee together, and my mug today, I cannot believe this is the first time I've used this mug. The only thing I can think of is that it was dirty every single time I went to use it, potentially, for Coffee with Connect. This is the Starbucks Magic Kingdom mug that we've got all four from all four parks, and for whatever reason, I've used Epcot, I've used the Hollywood one, I've used the Animal Kingdom one, and I have not used the Magic Kingdom one before on here, and I have no idea why, so please forgive me. And so we're gonna pray, read, think, write, do as we do. And yes, to make fun of me, Justin, yes, I did match my shirt to my mug today. Forgive me. But yeah, we're going to be in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 today. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, I'm in the NLT. And as we go through our 5-step process, we're going to read a few more verses than we normally do. We're reading verses 7 through 10 of this today. But I think it's a good perspective shift for each one of us. So I hope that you've prayed and asked the Lord to show you something today. And now let's read and see what God's Word has for us. 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10, I'm in the NLT, says this. Even though I have received such wonderful revelations from God, so to keep me from becoming proud, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me and keep me from becoming proud. 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away, and each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults and hardships and persecutions and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So Paul, writing here to the church in Corinth, and he's giving some perspective of like, here's kind of how I feel about some of the things that have gone on in my life. Yet I've seen God show up in incredible ways through the weaknesses. He had some kind of struggle that he really saw fit to take to the Lord over and over and over again. And the Lord saw fit to not take it from him for whatever reason that might be. Now, we're not totally sure what this thorn in his flesh was. There's debate among, theologians and stuff. And you read a couple of different things in seminary about that. A lot of people think it might be having something to do with his eyesight based on Galatians 4, 13 through 15. You can read that if you want. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter what it was because it was chronic and it hindered him, or at least from a worldly perspective, from a human perspective, it felt like it hindered him in a lot of ways. However, God showed him a couple of things through that. 2 main things that stand out to me as I'm thinking about this is that God's grace was enough. God's grace was enough, and potentially without that thorn in his side, he may not have seen that or been able to use that. And because of that, because God's grace was enough, because of it, God received even more glory through the ministry of Paul, because there is no way Paul could point to himself in anything, partially because of the what he's calling the thorn in his side. Have you ever thought about the fact that your weaknesses, because he saw this as a weakness in himself, have you ever thought about the fact that your weaknesses can actually be a strength in the hands of Jesus? So what's God saying to you? As we've thought about this, thought about what we've read, what can you write down? What's a couple of bullet points, a couple of sentences, a couple of things that maybe you could even post in the comments? You never know what your insight might do for someone else, because we've all got weaknesses that we struggle with. And if there's anything that we can come together on and agree on, it's that. And there's probably somebody watching this right now that is struggling in the same weakness that you are. And maybe the Lord hasn't removed that so that he can get all the glory. That's a hard truth to sit with sometimes. But what do we do with this? What do we do with this information and with the lessons we learned from Paul here? Well, God uses our strengths and our skills. Absolutely. There are some things that you are awesome at, that God uses or will use, if you put it in his hands, for his glory. But when we rely on him, when we serve him and we make ourselves available to him, our weaknesses in his hands become a strength. Our struggles, God uses for his glory. So thanks for joining me, and I hope that you'll like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share this with somebody that needs it. Join me again here next time so we can have our coffee and we can connect to Christ, community, purpose, and God's word together. See ya.